Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Julie Chrisley helps Savannah with Thanksgiving meal. This will be Julie Chrisley's second Thanksgiving behind bars, but those closest to her will still feel her presence. She is helping her daughter, Savannah Chrisley, with their holiday meal, but how is that possible? Keep reading to find out what part Julie will be playing in the festivities. Julie Chrisley helps Savannah with Thanksgiving meal. It has been nearly 2 years since Todd and Julie Chrisley headed off to their respective prisons. Todd is serving his time in Pensacola, whereas Julie is in Kentucky. This has been quite a struggle for the couple who has limited communication. They must rely on their daughter, Savannah Chrisley, to relay love messages when she speaks to her parents. She has spoken out on the atrocious living conditions her parents have been subjected to, especially Todd. The holidays only amplify the fact that this is not a short-term situation. Last year, Nanny Faye Chrisley was visiting friends in Florida, so she went to see Todd on Thanksgiving. In the blink of an eye, the holiday has rolled around, and Savannah is in charge of everything. She wanted to keep the traditions alive as much as she could. So when she visited Julie recently, she was able to get some help from her mother and shared it on her Instagram. Rather than cracking open a recipe book or searching online, Savannah had Julie write down all she needed to know to make the perfect homemade holiday meal. Julie Chrisley wrote down a whole menu for Savannah, which included several pasta dishes and a salad. There were also desserts, and then she added all of the ingredients necessary. Last but not least, Julie added in the exact type of paper plates her daughter should purchase. This may not be the typical turkey and mashed potatoes, but it does look like a feast. Now, Savannah Chrisley can have her mother at her holiday meal and pay homage to her in a very special way. Sad and disheartening news. Julie Chrisley had her resentencing, and it did not go the way that anyone in the family had hoped. In fact, her probation was extended by 2 years, which blew Savannah Chrisley and her followers away. She addressed it on her Unlocked podcast, as she often gives prison updates. It did not seem fair that this would happen with no rhyme or reason, and some fans agreed. Of course, not everyone cared and felt that the family should face the consequences of their actions. Regardless, Savannah will keep fighting for her parents and won't back down. Until then, she will have a lovely holiday meal courtesy of Julie. Thanksgiving morning dawned crisp and bright in Nashville, but inside Savannah Chrisley's house, things were already heating up, literally and emotionally. The air was thick with the scent of cinnamon, roasted vegetables, and turkey drippings, but so was Savannah's anxiety. She stood in her pristine kitchen wearing an apron that read, "Gobble till you wobble," frantically scrolling through a recipe on her iPad with flour dusted on her cheek. "Where is the sage?" she muttered, slamming a cabinet shut. "And why is this turkey still cold inside? I started it at 6. Suddenly, the back door creaked open, and in walked a familiar presence, one Savannah hadn't had in her kitchen for a while. Her mother, Julie Chrisley. Dressed in a cozy cardigan, leggings, and her ever-so-slightly judgmental expression, Julie carried a tote bag filled with neatly labeled containers. "Savannah Faith Chrisley," she said, her voice sweet with a hint of sass. "Did you really think you could pull off Thanksgiving dinner without your mama's help?" Savannah nearly dropped the measuring cup in her hand. "Mom, I thought you weren't gonna be able to make it until later." Julie set her bag down and embraced her daughter tightly. "Let's just say I pulled a few strings and moved heaven and earth to be here early. Thanksgiving isn't just about food, it's about family. And I know how much pressure you've put on yourself for today." Savannah, eyes welling with emotion, whispered, "I just wanted it to be perfect. Everyone's been through so much this year, with you and Dad being away, and me stepping into this new role." Julie put a gentle hand on her daughter's shoulder. Honey, perfection isn't the goal. Connection is. Now let's save this meal before it turns into a full-blown into the kind of rhythm only a mother and daughter can. Julie immediately took charge of the turkey situation, commanding the oven like a seasoned general. You didn't brine it long enough, she said, examining the bird. But don't worry, I've got a solution. From her magical tote bag, she produced a butter herb injection and went to work like a culinary surgeon. Savannah, meanwhile, stirred the cranberry sauce while sneaking peeks at Julie, who seemed more at peace than Savannah had expected. There was a quiet strength in her mother, one sharpened by everything they'd endured, yet softened by gratitude. They moved around the kitchen with ease, bickering playfully over this sweet potato casserole. I like mini marshmallows on top, Savannah insisted. Julie rolled her eyes. You know that's dessert pretending to be a side dish. It's Thanksgiving, Mom. Let me have this one guilty pleasure. Julie smirked. Fine, but I'm putting crushed pecans on half so the grown-ups don't feel like they're eating candy for dinner. As the hours passed, the kitchen began to hum like a living thing. Pans clattered, timers dinged, and laughter bubbled up as they relived family memories. Nanny Faye's infamous Jell-O mold incident, Chase once burning a frozen pie, and the year Grayson tried to deep-fry a turkey in the garage and nearly set the lawnmower on fire. With each story, the weight on Savannah's shoulders seemed to lift. For the first time in months, she wasn't the one holding everything together. She had her mother beside her again, guiding, supporting, and seasoning the stuffing with wisdom only Julie Chrisley could offer. When the rest of the family started arriving, Nanny Faye in a leopard print sweater, Chase fashionably late with 2 store-bought pies, and Grayson wearing a pilgrim hat ironically, the house filled with noise, warmth, and the smell of turkey perfection. As they gathered around the long wooden table that Savannah had decorated with autumn leaves, gold-rimmed plates, and personalized name cards, Julie reached for her daughter's hand. You did good, baby girl, she said softly. This is what it's all about. Not just the food, not just the pretty table, but the heart behind it. Savannah's eyes shimmered again. I couldn't have done it without you. You never have to, Julie said. Even if I'm not always physically here, I'm always with you. In every recipe, in every tradition, in every bite of that overly sweet marshmallow casserole. They both laughed, and then Chase chimed in, raising a glass. To Mom and Savannah, for keeping this crazy family fed and fabulous. Nanny Faye raised hers too. And to me for staying out of the kitchen and letting y'all handle it this year. Laughter erupted. Plates were passed, stories were swapped, and seconds, and thirds were served. But amid the chaos, the clinking glasses, and the gravy spills, Savannah looked at her mother and smiled with a heart full of gratitude. That Thanksgiving wasn't just a meal. It was healing. It was love. It was a reminder that no matter how far apart they had been or what they had gone through, the bond between mother and daughter was unbreakable, just like a good pie crust. And as they curled up on the couch later that night, surrounded by leftovers and sleepy dogs, Julie leaned over and whispered, "Next year, we're doing it at my house." Savannah grinned. "Only if you promise not to bring 17 Tupperware containers again." "No promises," Julie teased. "But I will bring the magic." And just like that, Thanksgiving became a little more whole.